Hello and welcome to My Brother and Me, an advice show for the modern era. I'm your oldest brother, Justin McElroy.
I'm your middleest brother, Travis McElroy.
I'm your sweet baby brother and 30 under 30 media luminary, Griffin McElroy. Connor.
We're going to get a copyright strike.
Connor, I finished it.
You finished it?
It's done.
What's done?
I listened to the whole thing of My Brother and Me. Every episode.
It's like 410 now, I think?
413 episodes, and that's it. And that's the whole show. There's never going to be any more.
I don't think they finished.
There's
closed.
no more.
No more.
When I listened to episode 413, at the end, Justin looked right into the camera, and it's weird because it's an audio podcast, but he had a camera. And
you could feel him looking into the camera.
It popped up on my screen, and he looked right at me, and he said, Graham? And then he paused, and then he said, Graham Gnawl. So I thought, that's probably me. And then he said, this is it. That's all you get. You can't have any more. What the thing that has me disconcerted is kind of, whose zany comedy style am I going to rip off now?
Still my brother and me. I'm certain
still the same one.
This is
If they're not doing it, can I
make your own thing? No, you're not allowed to do
my
that.
own? Here's the problem with that. I only have one brother, so mine would be called My Brother and Me, and that's the original name of the show that they were parodying. So it would just come full circle.
How about just me? And go a step beyond. Just me.
Just me.
Yeah, just me.
Welcome to me. That sounds a little bit more introspective. The other thing is that I don't think they actually canceled the show. But
yeah, it's going to blow your mind.
A week is a long time when you're all caught up on a show that you've listened to an 8 years backlog of and have been listening to like 10 episodes a day.
Should we play the intro music?
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth.
100% worth.
Your best friends created the best show in the universe, and they took that show and made that show 100% worse.
Presenting Podcast Extravaganza 100% Worse, the show that gets better every day. Presented entirely standing up.
We didn't get to finish talking last week, and I feel that was... I'm not going to put blame on anyone, least of all whoever... Well, whichever one of us it was that kind of typed a capstone paper into our Google Doc.
Yeah, we had quite an extensive doc.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like we covered everything pretty well.
To balance it out, we're going to have no doc this week. We're just going right off the cut. Was I supposed to mention that?
It sounds like a bit, but it's true. We've just scrapped the doc. We're word up, we're freestyling, and
oh, do you remember that PBS show, Word Up?
No.
Was it called Word Up? It was like Word Girl or something. Some like superhero.
Okay.
But like she had no powers. Well, wait, no, I think she flew maybe.
She flew? Where did
I can't remember anything. I just remember it was a horribly ugly salmon red and orange suit.
Okay.
And she had like a dictionary or something. I can't remember. This was a tangent. I just remember that there was this
When
weird
did this
PBS
air?
show. I have no idea.
Well, that's the kind of like the factual, relevant anecdotes and jokes that we like to bring to our show with our level of professionalism. Actually, in order to spice things up this week, I'm going to do something.
Uh-oh. Let's, he's grabbing a ukulele.
All I've done is I've just gotten down my ukulele so that...
Oh, he's also put googly eyes on the headstock.
So that if Connor says anything particularly jazzy, I can kind of just get it down, just lay down the track real quick, and then maybe start...
Jazzy?
Just anything, just kind of as the spirit moves.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well,
is that even? No, I don't think that was even very a jazzy beat.
It was kind of more of a American rock plain white tees beat, but I can work with it. Just pretend like I'm not here. Just do the show like normal.
You do the show like normal, but pretend you're not here. You're killing most of the show. You know that, right? I won't be able to just talk for a while with no one to bounce off. Okay, sure, let's talk. Okay. What was last episode was stuff that we like, right? Something that I can say now that Graham's gone. I really like Avatar: The Last Airbender. TV show from like Nickelodeon or something. Most nerds have seen it. If you're a nerd and you haven't seen it,
no, I
watch
agree.
it.
Sorry, I just had to come back in and say, Avatar: The Last Airbender, easily the best movie I have ever seen.
You're about to do this show without me.
I just think it's the best Shyamalan movie because the twist was it was critically horrible. Can't say there's not a twist because there's definitely a twist.
For all of you who've seen it, it's really good, right? It's amazing. One of the best animated shows I've ever seen in my life. Do you know how long it took me to get Graham to watch this show?
Now, here's the thing.
I'll give you a guess.
Now, here's the thing.
Everyone playing along at home can give one guess to how long it took.
Okay, I'm just going to, no sesame here. I don't remember how long it took. I just remember that there was a long period of time where even if you made me watch an episode, I wouldn't watch the next one on my own.
I'm getting the scene ready for the people at home.
Yeah.
2 years.
Was it really?
2 years since I first mentioned he should watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow.
To the point where he finally sent me a message saying he finished it.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy that you didn't tell me about that show earlier, because I really enjoyed it. I would say it's probably one of my favorite shows.
It's now one of his favorite shows.
Yeah.
We watched the first episode together. I gave him all of them. He was able to watch all of them. And I was like, hey, did you watch the second episode? Oh, no. Okay. Well, then you want to like watch it after like we do a podcast or like music or something. He was like, sure. So then we watched the second episode and it'd be like a week. And be like,
it was kind of a week
nothing.
by week.
It was like,
it was I really gave it a cod liver oil treatment. And I kind of only took a dose of the show when Connor was over. And I gotta say, it's, easily among my very favorite shows. So I guess the moral here is listen to your friends because they know what you like.
Try things even if you don't think you're going to like them. And I probably shouldn't be the one saying that because of my long history of not eating anything that I'm not comfortable with. But, yeah.
Try things even if you don't like them. Try things even if they're gross. Jump off a cliff with no parachute. You won't like it the first time, but that's okay, 'cause there won't be a second time.
What?
No, I just thought it was a good point.
Oh, don't jump off a cliff without a parachute. Don't do it.
I'm sure we could easily turn this into an Avatar: The Last Airbender fan cast, but I think people have by and large either seen it or they can get into it on their own. What I wanted to talk about was, since it's kind of a continuation of just stuff we like, you've talked about world building before and like magic systems and...
Which, by the way, Avatar is one of the most fluid I've ever seen in my life.
Right. One of the best. When did you first see the show and what'd you latch on to?
I first saw it when I was about... I want to say 11, 12, something like that. Watched it all in, I want to say, it was definitely within a week. It was only a few days, but I can't remember how
and then
long.
100 years passed, and my brother and I discovered the new Avatar, a Blu-ray set that was expensive. Even though I don't have a Blu-ray player, and it has a long way to go before it's ready to play anything. But I believe that
you're really struggling with this one. Come on, blow us away with this ending.
I-
Tie it all together.
If you wanted to throw me a rope or something,
Why
we could
would
talk
I do
about
that?
something else. I didn't have a thing. I just felt like I should contribute.
I thought you said I was doing this by myself, and you weren't helping out.
I regret. There are a few things I regret in my life. I think one of them was that statement. Actually, I was going to say on a similar topic, but this isn't really on a similar topic to anything. I was more just thinking of situations in which I have tried to come up with anything to say about the way that something is and just kind of been nonplussed.
For anyone out there who might maybe not understand what the word nonplussed means, could you enlighten our listeners?
Yeah, hello, you have A Way with Words. This is Grant Barrett. I'm here with Martha Barnett, and the word nonplussed comes from the Latin and Greek roots, which describe the way that you would add two things together to create food for oxen that you would have plowing your field. And actually, in the Old French, this came to mean a particularly snide person, or it's a type of boat. And then in the mid-19th century in English, then this spread to other meanings and it came to mean that you didn't have a good way to deal with what was going on.
So what I understand.
Thanks for calling in
is
to
that
A Way with
nonplussed
Words.
in French means boat.
It's not a perfect science. Here's the thing. I tend to listen to one show at a time, and when I got caught up, I didn't really have anywhere to. I had no direction, so I've kind of been listening to a whole lot of A Way with Words lately, and that's a switch. I was trying to think of like other kind of styles that we could emulate kind of in our own thing, because we're kind of just directionless and vapid as entertainers and mostly unfunny. And so I thought maybe we could try out some different styles.
Like styles as in, how do you mean? Do you mean like a...
Just rip off kind of other formats.
Rip off other forms?
And jokes, yeah. So I thought, in A Way with Words, what they do is kind of, both of them, they're more or less just kind of goober dorks who laugh at stupid jokes. And I think that's something we could definitely achieve.
They're goober dorks, laughing at stupid jokes. Sure thing.
Yeah.
What's a stupid joke?
What did the fish say? What did the fish say when he swam into a wall?
I think we've already said this.
I can't feel my legs!
I think we've already said this on the podcast.
Cause a fish doesn't have any legs. Can somebody save me from this word prison that I've constructed around myself?
Sure. Let's go ahead and jump into something I've been doing for the past week.
Okay.
Well, it didn't take me the past week, but it's something that's happened in between now and last episode.
Mm-hmm.
On the topic of themes we like.
Yep.
Graham really likes D&D. I mean, I really like it too, but...
That's true. I actually, on a side note about that, I went from playing no RPGs lately, like in the past several months, to in the past month, 3 different ones have sprung up that people have asked me to join. So I'm kind of more in the elf's world than kind of in this one at the moment. And that's a weird experience for me, because they're all different RPGs as well. And sometimes you get confused. You drag remnants from one into the other. And you're like, why can't I use my Wookiee bowcaster to shoot the dude? And they're like, well, this is the Lord of the Rings one. And you're like, I thought it was homebrew.
So I want to try a new thing. It's basically a what would you do scenario. So basically, I'm just going to outline this very specific or very small scenario, and I want you to see what you do with it.
Okay, so this is just kind of a mini
kind of like an
RPG.
RPG. It's probably going to bomb because I haven't put too much thought into it.
That's a great way to introduce your bits.
I know, right?
Dale Carnegie says, have confidence.
You wake up in your bed, and the Home Alone burglars are trying to get in the front door.
The Wet Bandits?
Yeah, the Wet Bandits trying to get into your front door.
Uh-huh.
You have, at your disposal, 3 things you find in the kitchen.
Okay.
A spatula,
Uh-huh.
a butter knife,
Yep.
and a whisk. You also happen to find some string and some tape. What do you do?
Okay, so this is really more of like a Homestuck scenario. Homestuck alone. And I'm just playing this Flash game in my life. The Wet Band, they're just outside, just trying to get in.
Just trying to pick the lock.
Are they... Did you say I was home alone?
Yes.
I mean, I guess the first thing that I'm probably going to have to do is check and see if in the time when I was asleep, anybody bought a tarantula. Because I have some ideas.
Nobody
for that
bought a
animal.
tarantula.
I feel like you're not playing in the space. Can we check for the tarantula?
Yes. Okay, you check for a tarantula, and there's no tarantula.
See, now we're cooperating. A spatula and a whisk, huh? Those seem pretty
Spatula,
useless.
a butter knife, and a whisk.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna open the window.
Okay, you open the window.
Yeah. I open my window and I poke my head out. And I just talk to them. I feel like they're probably not gonna, typically if somebody's home, people don't get burgled.
They don't hear you.
They don't hear me. Why don't they hear me?
Do you have any windows near your door?
Yeah. The one right behind you. Right now.
Okay.
It's right next to the door.
I do see it.
I throw something at them. What are my items? I don't care. I throw them all at these people. What is it? What? They're gonna leave. I'll just talk to them. What? The movie's not real life. I'm a whole grown person. I could just open the door and be like, hey, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, sorry. I thought you were an 8-year-old kid. And I'd be like, well, that's also not okay. Any of that. What is the scenario?
I did not put that much thought into it, did I? Okay, let's say you're, what's his name? McLaughlin? I can't remember.
Macaulay Culkin.
Thank you.
Yep.
That dude. Let's say you're that kid.
Okay.
And your mere presence won't scare them away.
Have you seen him these days? It would. It would. It certainly would.
Okay, this is crash and burn.
He has. Oh, Siri wants in on the discussion. Siri had something to say.
Well, that clearly did not work.
No, it did.
as
They
well.
left.
They
left. The neighbors were like, "You're totally
congratulations,
right."
you win. Do-do-do. Oh.
When the wet bandits break into your home, call the police. I mean, seriously, what else are you going to do? Call the police. There are social rules and expectations everyone must follow, even if you don't like the law. Macaulay Culkin looks real shady since he got older, and I think he could scare them off. The wet bandits are outside my door. Those guys have gotta be super old by now. It's gonna be like the last 30 minutes of Up when they're fighting on the aircraft. and their backs keep giving out, except I'm not old and infirm, so I'll probably be able to drive them off. What are you doing? How much thought did you put into this scenario? Look, I appreciate that you're trying to help out, but I think I'm doing fine.
That's beautiful.
Thanks. That's like something I wrote when I was 13, and I've just, I've just always kind of been looking for the right venue to kind of put it out there. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Something I like to do is write real specific songs, and then most of them I don't get to use. But sometimes if they come up in conversation, actually, here's another. Would you mind if I did another one?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Here's one that I wrote a very long time ago, and it hasn't come up yet, but just if it does. Well, it's very short. My beef jerky came to life, and now it has eaten the cat. And and it's not something that you ever hope that you'll deal with, God forbid, but when it does.
This has been Storytime Songs with Graham Ganal. Catch us every Thursday, 5 p.m.
We don't even air on Thursday.
PBS. I think it'll be fun. But
I'm not knocking your storytelling. Look, I get it.
you clearly are. You knocked my storytelling so hard, you made a song
All right.
about
Well,
it.
listen, could the Wet Bandits be elves? I just feel like it would, because that would explain why they're living so long, how they got out of jail again. Did they die in one of them? How many Home Alones have there been?
Die? I did 6, maybe? I don't know.
So, I think there were like 2 or 3.
No, I
And there was one that was like, it didn't have Macaulay Culkin. It had, I think, some other kid in it. There was the one with Donald Trump in it. That was the second one.
Yeah, those 2.
Mm-hmm. That's the list of my Home Alone knowledge. That's all I know. Here's something upsetting. My store, which sells books, as it is a bookstore.
No, it's a fast food place. That sells books.
That sells books. No,
a fast food place for a library.
A library. That's a library, kind of. But you don't return the food to a.
Yeah, but like it's super fast.
Are you supposed
can just,
to
go in and take the?
Wait a minute. Are you supposed to return the food to the restaurant? And the fact that they charge you is just a fine for not returning it.
They charge you money because you eat it in front.
Yeah,
of
if you did that with a book at the
like,
library, they would charge you.
That is very true.
If you checked out a book and you ate it in front of them, they would absolutely charge you for the book.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a fast food place.
What?
Libraries are fast food.
What are you talking about?
Look, but no, for real, how weird of a concept is a library? Think about that. A place where you can go, you can take something that doesn't belong to you, and they just expect you to return it.
Mm-hmm.
On good faith and will. Well, if you don't return it, nothing happens.
Well, here's my situation. I feel like we've talked about this before.
They're built on a lot of trust.
Well, okay. Here's, I didn't think we were going to be talking about my personal beef with the Indianapolis library system today, but now that we're on the subject.
What if you took a lot of the books, sold them
I want to talk
online,
about my
on
thing.
eBay, enough to pay for the fines, and have a lot of money left over. Bam, instant profit.
That's how it works.
Sure, why wouldn't it?
I just keep finding, because then you don't have the books.
I'm sure if you wait for a while, they'll give you a flat fee. Like, okay, fine. It's been too long. Just give us $20 and return the books.
The book.
Or just give us $20 and you're covered for it.
That's more than you'll get for a book.
Depends on the book.
Okay.
If you go to the restrictions,
if you have the original gold plates from Joseph
library.
Smith as delivered by the Angel Moroni, perhaps that book would be worth more than $20. Have you seen library books? They look like dented papyrus scrolls, but they're not as valuable. Now listen, you brought up the library, and now you have to deal with my boring, my boring complaint about it. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should have written a letter to the governor. But this is my outlet for expressing my indignation, and I I guess that's just what I'm going to be doing right now at this time in my life. How did it get like this? How did I get like this? How did I get here? I don't know. But a few years ago, we're talking maybe 5 years by now. I don't know. It's been a while. I checked out one of my favorite CDs from the library, the Black Keys Attack and Release. I tried to play it, but the copy that they gave me was scratched, and it wouldn't play. So I put it back in its sleeve, and I returned it, and I thought nothing of it. I come back 2 weeks later. I try to check something out, and they're like, yo, you have a fine. I was like, impossible. C'est impossible. And they were like, no, j'accuse. You have a fine. And I was like, on what? And they were like, on that Black Keys CD that you never returned. Well, I haven't been back to the library since then. And I would imagine that the fines I have accrued by now would be so large that if I walked in the front door, they would just shoot me on sight. I think it's probably more like a bounty by now.
Have you seen this man?
Every time that I walk downtown past the library there, I can see snipers, and I'm like, listen, tell Jabba I'll have his money. But I won't.
See, I don't think it was your fault. I think they knew it was scratched, and so the first sucker to take this is going to get us a new CD.
I was a patsy, if that's what that word means.
I don't know if that...
I was set up.
Yeah.
I was a CD mule for the library. Yeah. That's what libraries do. They have underground CD smuggling rings. They take them out, they replace them with mixtapes, which aren't as good. And then...
Yeah, but whose mixtape?
You get one out, and they're like, no, listen, this is the good stuff. This is that real Black Keys. And if you're inexperienced and you haven't had many CDs before, maybe you won't know the difference. Maybe you won't know that it's actually just low-quality copies of an episode of Sesame Street.
Yo, if I got a CD from a library, I popped my CD player, and it played low-quality episodes of Sesame Street, that would be the best thing ever.
Okay, bad example.
That would be so good.
I'm just saying that sometimes that lo-fi quality of Grovey, we're close friends. That's what I call him.
So low quality, the R disappeared.
Low quality episodes of Grovey the Blue Man, just saying his normal lines, kind of sounds the same as Dan Auerbach's quirky lo-fi singing, a la Rubber Factory, a la Attack and Release. I'm just saying it could be confused if you didn't know, much as the amateur college marijuana experimenter might easily be led astray.
I think Timothy's at your door. We've got another cat problem.
There's always a cat. So if you hear any meowing, that's not
There's
one
actually
of us.
a cat in every single episode. Every single episode, there's a meow somewhere.
That's right.
Go back and listen to it all and see if you can find it.
That's right. That's how we get people to listen to our episodes. We make it like a coffee news thing. Like, can you find the little guy? Can you find the meow?
Half the time it's just Graham doing a voice, but
half the time it's just me.
That's because Timothy is very much a diva.
I've started to say, like 4 times now, what bothers me at work right now.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. I just now realize that there are bigger things. I didn't have that perspective, so I thank you for that. And I will say quickly, the thing that is keeping me up at night ever since I learned about it is that my store, a bookstore, not any kind of clothing store aside from t-shirts, is going to be carrying a specialty edition of Harry Potter boots.
I mean, you do have t-shirts. You do have a few t-shirts and like keychains and like record players and
but we don't have a Brannick device. Which is, of course, that thing where if you go into a shoe store, they use it to measure your foot.
Oh.
See, I used to work in feet. I'm tempted to think that we're just going to have aisles full of people putting on shoe after shoe, just standing. Dude, that's all we have is standing room. No benches, none of those slanty mirror things that you use to look at your calves.
But you said they were Harry Potter boots, so
I would
are they
imagine
magical and they just fit your feet? You just put the boots on and it just like magically fits your feet.
And that's an important point to consider. Are they sized, or does the shoe choose the wizard?
Well, we'll have to get a wizard in your store and find out.
If
anyone has any wizard sightings, please let us know.
The other thing about them is that they're described as being, I think felt is the material. Whatever the main material is. They're also described as having patches which are made of vegan leather, which I would assume is the same as fruit leather.
Pleather?
I'm going to fruit leather. I want to have fruit leather shoes, and I want them to choose me, and I want to go into Ollivander's and
put on these
dank
shoes.
Kind of just put on some sweaty boots that some other people have kind of been stepping into.
Is it going to be like a Space Jam kind of thing where you get the special thing you can play ball really well? You get these shoes.
Like Mike.
What?
You talking about Like Mike?
Like Mike.
The movie Like Mike? Where the kid gets Michael Jordan's basketball shoes. And
yeah, that one.
Yeah, well, hey, that's going to do it for us this week. Be sure to tune in next week where we help Connor figure out the difference between Like Mike and Space Jam. Something that is very...
momentary confusion.
Yeah, we might have to call an expert. Maybe we'll get Lil Bow Wow. I think he's either just Bow Wow now or just Mr. Wow. I don't know if he's still in the industry or not, basketball or hip-hop or otherwise. Yeah, well, thanks so much for listening. If you want to send us an email, you can always do that about anything at any time of the day or night at hundo@turboteenmovie.com.
That's hundo@turboteenmovie.com.
Or at 100%worse@gmail.com. That's the number 100, the words percent and worse.
If you want to fruit leather us a tweet, send it at 100% worse.
That's the number 100, the word percent and worse.
Doom.
Yeah. Thanks, as always, to Tortellino, our studio elephant, for just kind of hanging in there. Thanks to Kenny Childers for doing our opening blurb. Thanks to you, the listener,
for putting up with us this long.
For just putting your earbuds in and chilling with us for a second or two. If you enjoy the show, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. We always like to get those 6 or 7 star ratings. Haven't had a 10-star rating yet. So if you could be the first to leave a 10 or 20-star rating, you're, I would assume, a hacker. We would
You'd probably get banned from iTunes.
We would rather just...
We'd probably get banned from iTunes.
Prefer to have you as an ally than an opponent, I think. And and also share the show with a friend. Show them your favorite episode. You know? One of the good ones. Or, if they're all bad, just tell them that there will be good ones.
That's always a good one. There will be good episodes.
Truth in advertising has never paid off. Not even once. Until next time, I've been Graham Ganal.
And I've been Connor Hughes.
And I've been Justin McElroy.
And I've been Travis McElroy.
I've been Griffin McElroy. This is my brother and me. Kiss your dad's square on the lips.
And they took that show and made that show 100% worse.